Hello and welcome to this mini webcast series, which we like to call How It Works. We basically use this platform to explain and acquaint you with the various new features of ISA and InstaSafe ZTAA, and of course, to inform you how they can possibly enhance your security posture. So we thought a lot about where to start from, and of course came to the conclusion, why not start with the latest features and the latest updates. So what we'll do is we'll acquaint you with a nifty little feature called Windows Credential Authentication, which comes with InstaSafe Secure Access. It's a recent development, and I have with me Shubhranshu, who's part of the product management team. Um, Hi, Shubhranshu.
Hi Pratik.
So we'll take it forth with a very simple query on my end before we start. Why did you think that this feature was necessary?
Okay, the idea of developing multi-factor authentication for Windows login was to supplement the existing CERT-based authentication that exists with ISA. Uh, Now, with the sophistication of security breaches increasing every day, now relying only on username and password to secure user accounts is no longer a viable option. Multi-factor authentication has become quite a necessary additional security layer to weed out unauthorized users. Now, what InstaSafe Windows multi-factor authentication does, it basically, in addition to existing passwords, it verifies user with a second authentication factor. The second authentication factor might be anything depending from an OTP received via SMS or email, or might be through biometric authentication. Now, due to secondary authentication, what happens? The security of the end user device is enhanced, and threats such as brute force attacks or social engineering is really minimized, uh, as well as a compromise of end user device and unauthorized access to enterprise reduced. Now, InstaSafe Authenticator. Now with InstaSafe Credential Authenticator, once the multi-factor with InstaSafe credentials, multi-factor authentication enabled, users have to authenticate themselves in multiple stages. They first have to go through the user local password or via Active Directory. The second stage can be a password received via email, SMS, biometric, etc. And implementing multi-factor authentication with Windows greatly reduces the loss of sensitive data. Even when a password is compromised, the end user still has to go through another layer of dynamic verification, and uh, thus you can say that by adding an additional layer of security to the existing security rules, the overall security posture of the device can be enhanced.
Right. So probably all in all, it serves to not only add an additional layer of security, but also sort of enhance user experience while reinforcing the zero trust model, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I think we can start with a short intro, and then probably we can move on to a short demo that will help simplify understanding for our viewers. Over to you, Shubhranshu.
Okay. So, like I've already said, the advantages of using a secondary credential authentication with Windows is, first of all, it prevents end user devices from security threats such as brute force attacks and social engineering attacks, as well as it prevents compromise of end user devices and unauthorized access of resources. Now, Now going on to the features of InstaSafe multi-factor authentication, the admins can customize ISA MFA to their organization needs. Now, ISA has provision to to enable multi-factor for wide range of accounts, including security for most privileged accounts. This additional layer of security can be enabled for local consoles as well as for devices that are accessed through RTP. The admin can provision MFA locally for individual users or via Active Directory for an entire user group. Now, ISA supports a wide range of multi-factor methods, like the user may choose to receive an OTP via email, SMS, or via any authentication application such as Google Authentication or Microsoft Authenticator. It also supports TOTP authenticator application that follows a TOTP approach. In addition to that, InstaSafe is currently in the process of launching its own authenticator application, which would enable verification by a push notification, single click verification by a push notification as well. Now, uh, the Windows the credential authentication is in addition to InstaSafe's existing contextual restrictions such as geo-based access control or role-based access control mechanisms, access based on device device security posture. So to summarize, in addition, implementation of a multi-factor authentication uh, helps in uh, helps in protecting end user devices overall it helps to protect the organizations from data breaches due to stolen or lost credentials by implementing of a simple multi-factor authentication mechanism. Now, coming to how exactly this how exactly this works. Now, when a user attempts to sign in, an auth request is first sent to ISA server for verification. Now, post successful verification, the Windows login screen would display an OTP prompt, and this would call an InstaSafe server would call an API to generate an OTP. The user enters the OTP, which is verified by ISA. Here it is imperative to note that although InstaSafe agent is configured to be on always on mode, it will wait for successful completion of multi-factor authentication before actually attempting to connect and allowing user access to any enterprise resources. Uh, Only after successful authentication will the InstaSafe service be signaled to proceed with connection attempt. And any ISA security checks that are previously configured. The ISC security checks, by ISC security checks, I mean security checks based on whether antivirus is working on the end user device, or if the end user device conforms to certain organizational policies. Only after all these security checks will be verified at this stage, and only after successful verification will the user be allowed access to enterprise resources.
So we can probably move on to a short demo of the solution that will help acquaint the viewers with what exactly the solution presents and how it simplifies access for the users.
Sure. So first we will go through a overview of the console. How exactly is the user created, and what exactly are the configurations that the admin need to carry on for the user. And in the next stage, we will actually view how the solution works on an end user device. So here we will demonstrate how exactly the InstaSafe secure access authentication works in a real scenario. For the purpose and for the purpose, we have set up a PC in VMware where InstaSafe Secure Access has been pre-configured with settings for multi-factor authentication turned on. The InstaSafe Secure Access here is running on a CERT-based authentication. That is a CERT-based authentication that is running on without any authentication. That is on the InstaSafe Secure Access is running without any interface. So the authentication will be carried on at the time when the user signs in. So when the user attempts to sign in for the first time, authentication, the user enters his username as well as password. The username has to be same as the name configured in the portal. When the user enters, an authentication request is sent to the ISA server, which in turn calls an API to generate an OTP. The user enters an OTP, which is then verified by InstaSafe. Here, as I've already told before, that the settings for this has to be configured so that the InstaSafe is operating on an always on mode, and the InstaSafe will wait for the multi-factor authentication to successfully complete before it can attempt to connect with the enterprise server. After successful authentication, the InstaSafe service will be signaled to proceed. The InstaSafe service will be signaled to proceed with connection attempts. Any security, any security services that has been pre-configured IS with ISA that will work again. And like I've told, the OTP verification successful state is maintained for a 7 to 8 hours. For 8 hours. Now, once we can see that once the user tries to log in the second time, since the OTP state is in the success state, so he'll be directly able to log in and re-OTP. OTP will not be asked to him once again. Here we can see that the InstaSafe service running in already running in. This is the InstaSafe console. From here, the admin can manage all activities in the institute, in the within the organization relating to InstaSafe secure access. From here, new users can be provisioned, as well as those user can be divided into groups, and based on this user level or group level, individual access policies can be configured for this user. And based on this access policies, an individual could be allowed or restricted access from an resource. The resource might be any particular server or any enterprise application. Now, the sections of this dashboard, first section is the controller and gateway. From here, the controller, which will be responsible for maintaining access, which will be responsible for controlling the access between the user and the application. Application can be launched, as well as there are different profiles, the authentication profiles. From authentication profiles, different users can be provisioned via different means. Let's say local users can be created, or users can be added via Active Directory, or a user can be added via LDAP, the company LDAP, or via Google, or use Google as an authentication profile. Now, for the purpose of the demo, I'll just focus on this user section. For the purpose of the demo, we have already created a user. So this is how the user is created, and these are the settings we have currently enabled for the user. The authentication type for the particular user we have set is certificate. Now, in cert-based authentication, it works without an interface, so there is no direct interface. The user does not have to directly interact with the agent. In addition to that, we can also enable geo binding, binding, and device binding for a particular user. The activation method is set to activation immediately on provisioning, and there is no time-based activation for this particular user. And once the user is created, you will receive a link from and the user has to go to the download section and download this user agent for the particular user. The user has to log into this download section and download the user agent for Windows. So that concludes a brief demonstration of the InstaSafe multi-factor authentication solution for Windows. Now it's over to you, Pratik.
Yeah, thank you, Shubhranshu. That was really an insightful session, and of course, I think our viewers will have a much better clarity with regards to this feature. Now, of course, there are certain queries even on my mind, and I certainly hope some on the end viewers' mind as well. One of the major queries that comes from my end is that from an end user perspective, how is this going to enhance the user experience? And from a company or an organizational perspective, how will this enhance the overall security posture?
Uh, InstaSafe Secure Access really simplifies multi-factor authentication for Windows. The user simply has to enter an additional TOTP once while signing in. Now, on the other hand, it is significantly easy to configure. The adoption is quite easy, and seeing it from an organizational perspective, now end user devices are less susceptible to cyber attacks such as weak passwords or brute forcing or phishing based attacks. Also, this is in addition to InstaSafe technologies existing contextual restrictions that can restrict access to resources via parameters such as geo policy control, device posture verification. uh, so we can say that although there is not a significant degradation, or there is not any degradation in user experience. At the same time, the security posture is enhanced while user experience remains simple and convenient.
Got it. So I do have another query from my end as well. Uh, how do you think the authenticator application will be, complementing InstaSafe's zero trust solutions, or in other words, maybe reinforcing InstaSafe's zero trust model?
Zero trust solutions work on a very clear principle, that is to first verify and then trust. So user will be allowed access to any resources only after he has successfully verified this identity, the credentials of the device is established. Now, Windows, but ISS solutions via the cert-based authentication is already verifying uh, verifying the identity of the device, and it is already, and so since certain restrictions such as geolocation and geolocation, device posture, role-based access control, and such restrictions are already being such restrictions are already measuring the device credential to a greater extent. Now, to verify the user credentials, passwords are used. Now, passwords are reliable way to verify user identity, but they are flawed. Uh, Individuals may use weak passwords, or password or same passwords might be used across multiple services, and if any of the other services get hacked, this poses a risk to this enterprise's resources. Now, there is a risk there is a risk associated with cyber attacks such as brute forcing or social engineering as well. uh, by credentials add an additional layer to device security. By verifying identity of the user while logging into the machine itself, it ensures that the right user is connecting from the right device. Now, thus, by use of multi-factor authentication, you can say that while the user is signing into the device, you can say that the zero trust principle that InstaSafe strongly believes on is reinforced here.
Got it. Got it. Thank you, Shubhranshu. I think that clears some of the doubts that even me and most of the viewers had in mind. This was a really insightful session from your end. Thank you so much. Of course, we'll be having many more such sessions that cover most or even all of our features, and acquaint our viewers and our users with how simplified and secure InstaSafe's secure access and InstaSafe's ZTAA are. Thank you. That's all from our side.
Yeah. Thank you, Pratik.